Okay, so what was, I already forgot what the quiz question was. Where was that thing? So the quiz question went like this. It was number 5, and it said a squared b squared minus 64. So how do you do a squared b squared, excuse me, minus 64? And they said factor. They said the word factor. What does factor mean? Unmultiply. Find out what it was before it was multiplied, right? All right, so what kind of a thing is that? Two-termer. Yeah, it's a two-termer. So remember we do the double parentheses, right? And we think, okay, front, I call it an FL. Is that what I call it? I called it that, right? I'm trying to remember. I call it different things, different semesters. Right? Friday, I called it an FL, right? All right, so front times front to be front. It's like it's outside of a FOIL, right? It's missing the O and the I in the middle. Front times front to be front. So what times what will be a squared b squared? Yeah, AB, AB. Because when they multiply, the understood 1 powers on the a's will add, and the 1 powers on the b's will add, and you'll go back to a squared b squared. Good? And last times last to be 64. What times what 64? 8 times 8, 64. And how do you get a negative 64? Because it's a negative 64. 1 positive, 1 negative. Doesn't matter what order. You can have the negative first and the positive, whichever way. Does that make sense? That was the answer to the quiz. It was A? A, yeah. A it was. All is well? All right. Well. Whoops.
I think that last, the other day, Friday,
Uh-huh.
I can't remember which section it was, the last one we worked on, I think that didn't come up on YouTube. Did anybody else notice that, or could I just not find it?
Videos cut off.
They cut off?
Yeah.
They start off later or something.
Oh, really?
I was just wondering, if it's not on there, is there any way to upload it now, or is it gone now?
It usually means something bad happened.
Okay.
With, so it was so Fridays wasn't on there.
I think the last.
5.5 is not a
That's what I was thinking, 5.5.
Yeah.
I thought that was on there.
Yeah.
5.5, and 5.5 was, I'm getting lost here. Yeah, that was the end of last time.
Okay. And
Factoring binomials wasn't on there, really?
yeah, that's okay. I'll get some help in the lab.
Plus 64. See if you can factor that. So remember how that works. So what goes in the front of each of those parentheses? A. And then what goes in the back of each of those parentheses? 8. Because 8 times 8, 64, and they add to be 16, right? Remember we do the multiply, add thing? Remember all that? Two numbers that multiply to be 64 and add to be 16. That'd be 8 and 8. And that's our answer, huh? And that's not really anything new. That's stuff you already know about, huh? That's like what we were doing, I think it was the beginning of Friday, wasn't it? I can't remember. Thursday or Friday last week, we've done that. Now, when you have the exact same thing twice, like identical twins, you know, you go ahead, what could you do with that to write it as one parenthesis with a what? 2 power, huh? Because there's 2 of them. Yeah, and that's what they want you to do when they're identical, when they're exactly the same, identical twins. Just want you to put one of them with a 2 power on it. And there we go. Makes sense on that? Something you already know, I think. Just how to do that. All right. So c squared plus 18c plus 81. Try that one, see if you can factor that one. All right. So, two parentheses. What goes in the front of each parenthesis?
C.
The c. That was the letter like that, huh? Because c times c would be c squared, right? Everybody good with that? If I was to multiply c times c, it'd be c squared, wouldn't it? Okay. Notice how the front times the front makes the front. And then the last times they have to multiply. What two numbers multiply to be 81 and yet add to be 9?
9.
9 and 9. Yeah, 9 and 9. Both positive, huh? Like that. And that's identical twins. What a surprise. And so we will say squared. Okay, so you get in the pattern? They're going to do that every time in this section. The answers are always going to end up being identical twins. That's called perfect square trinomials. What's a perfect square? Something squared. Something to the second. The answer is going to end up squared. It's a perfect square trinomial. It means a three-termer trinomial that becomes something squared as its answer. That's what they're saying. So every one of these are going to become something squared. So what they do is they just have you practice that and recognize that. You can see it right away and go, oh yeah, 81 is going to be 9, and that makes 18 in the middle. So that's perfect. That's all they're doing. It's just having that happen. Is that good? Easy enough? So there we go. X squared plus 4dx plus 400. So x is in the front. We're looking for two numbers that multiply to be 400 and add to be 40. What same two numbers add to be 40? Yeah, it's just going to, notice how it's just going to be the middle number divided by 2? Every time. Want to save some time, right? It's going to be the middle number divided by 2 because two of them have to make the middle number, huh?
I was trying 4 times 100. It wasn't working.
Right. Because 4 times 100 would not add to be 40, would it? It's add to be 104. Yeah, so these ones that are going to be the same thing twice is going to be half the middle every time. And then that's squared because it's identical twins. Good. All is well. All right, I'll keep moving. Okay, so 25a squared minus 80a plus 64. Yeah, these are going to be more complex. Let me help you with these. I'll start to slow down here, and this will kind of start to get us ready for the hard ones in 5.4. Okay, this one's different. Why is it different? It has a number in the front. When you have a number in the front, it's much harder. It's more difficult when you have a number in the front. You know what I mean? Like, let's look back. See this last one? No number in the front, just a 1. Understood 1. You know, nothing in the front, right? One before it, nothing in the front. One before it, nothing in the front. If you notice, there's never been a number in the front on those. Now all of a sudden we have a number in the front. So that's going to make it more challenging. Let's do our parenthesis thing.
You can't reorder it, because they've all got numbers.
Yeah, and it's the right order right now because it goes from highest power to lowest, right? It goes a squared, a, no a. That's what you want. That's the perfect order right now. A squared, a, no a. So we want to just keep it as it is. Okay. Now, front times front to make front. Well, what am I going to put in the front? 5a, huh? 5a, 5a. Front times front, 5a times 5a will make 25a squared, won't it? Everybody good with that? 5a times 5a will make 25a squared. Front times front will make front. Now, last times last to make last. What times what makes 64? 8 times 8 will make 64. But they're not going to make 80. Right? Aren't we supposed to have multiply, add? 8 and 8 multiply to be 64. Let me get that for you. So yeah, 8 and 8 multiply to be 64, but they're not going to make 80 in the middle. So is this just not right? No, it actually is right. This is the right answer. Because it's a little more tricky now. They actually do make 80. They don't just straight add to be 80, but they interact with the 5s. What they do is they multiply the 5s. What is 8 times 5?
40.
At 40 is. That's how they make the 80. Let me show you the details. What it really is, it's not a simple multiply add now. It's more complex. It's actually the whole FOIL. Now we have to start thinking about the entire word FOIL whenever you have a number in the front. That's what's harder. That's really what we're going to do in section 5.4. Even messier is have to think about the whole word FOIL when there's a number in the front. So everybody hear me on when you have to do this. When there's a number in the front, you have to think about the whole word FOIL, not just multiply add. Okay, so what does FOIL stand for? Remember?
First, outside, inside, last.
First, outside guys, inside guys, last. First, outer, inner, last. Yeah. So first means the first one here times the first one there makes the first one here. And that's all good, no problem. And last means the last times the last makes the last. Yeah, that's all, no big surprise there. But what's different, what we haven't been doing before, is the oi in the middle. Oi stands for, what again? What does O stand for? Outside. Who are the two outside guys? Those two. That's your O in the word FOIL. What's the I? And these are your inside guys. There's your O and your I. Right? There's your O and your I. So, when it comes to the word FOIL, that's how you get the middle. Like that. So what's that? What is 5a times 8? 40a. And what is 8 times 5a? Well, 40a again. Now the middle is still add. I probably shouldn't cross it off. It is add in the end, but it's not a simple add. It's adding the O and the I. So what do the O and the I add up to be? When you add 40a and 40a, you get 80a. Now what are we supposed to get? Negative. So how do we make it negative? Yeah, these have to both be negative. So it's negative 40 and negative 40 makes negative 80a. Does that make sense on that? So it's a little more tricky now. The add is an adding of O and I. Outer, outer, inner, inner. So there's our answer. Well, actually, since it's identical twins again, these are all identical twins. We write squared. And we're done. 5a minus 8 squared. Is that good? Questions on that? All is well. So try another one then. The number in the front. So 36. Is that an R? Yeah. R squared plus 12 RT plus T squared. All right, try that one. Two parentheses. And so what you want to do when there's a number in the front is you want to write the word FOIL. Is everybody seeing, when do you write the word FOIL? When there's a number in the front, huh? When there's a number in the front, you write the word FOIL. So front times front to make front. Front times front to make front. So what times what makes 36R squared?
6R.
Yeah. 6R, 6R. We good with the F? So kind of just do the F first, and then just do the last. Last times last to make last. What times what makes T squared? Just T times T, huh? Makes T squared, good. But now we have to check the middle. The middle is the trickiest part. It comes from the word oi, which means outer with outer and inner with inner. What's the outer times the outer? 6RT. What's the inner times the inner? 6RT. What do they add to be? You add them in the middle, right? 12RT. Perfect. With plus. Everybody's plus here, huh? It's making the middle 12RT, isn't it? Same thing twice. So we go 6R plus T squared. And there we go. Does that seem okay? Is that a little weird? No questions
You
on
really
that?
need to check, don't you, with doing the FOIL at the end.
Yeah, check the FOIL. That's exactly what we'll need to do on all these ones that have numbers in the front. Exactly. So the ones that have numbers in the front, you have to do the whole FOIL and check it with the little arcs, the O and the I, the outer, outer, inner, inner, little arcs at the end. That's right. Is that good? All is well? All right. Okay. 36V squared plus 84VT plus 49T squared. So that's definitely a foil, because there's a number in the front, right? There's a number in the front. Write the word foil. Number in the front. So number in the front, we got to write the word foil. And we got to do all the checking, just like Melody was saying. She's right, we got to do all that checking. So try that one. So 2 parentheses. And front times front to make front. What times what makes 30? So again, use your calculator if you're rusty on some of these old times tables. It's going to be 6v, 6v. Will multiply to be 36v squared. So far, so good. And then last times last to make 49t squared. What times what makes 49t squared? 7t, 7t. On that. Okay, now how do we know if the middle is good? Because 7 and 7 certainly don't add to be 84 in the middle. It is an add in the middle, but it's not just an adding of 7 and 7. What is it an adding of? The oi, right? That's why I'm writing the O and the I underneath the middle there. The O and the I stand for outer with outer, inner with inner, So draw those arcs. We're going to really need those, especially when we go to 5.4, the really hard ones here in a few minutes. So those 2 arcs, that's the inner connecting the inner, and the outer hitting the outer. And what do they make? What is 6 times 7? 42. And all you need is the numbers, really. And 6 times 7 is 42. I mean, technically it's 42 VT, 42 VT. And do they add? Does the O and the I add to be 84? Yeah, if you add those up, that is 84 VT. Perfect. And everything's plus on this one, so plus and plus. See how that's working? See how that's making the foil? And so what would that be? That would be 6v plus 7t squared, right? Because it's the same thing twice, so we just put a 2 power on it. Or here, I'll squeeze it over here. It looks kind of weird there. Squared, like that. Is that good? Questions I can answer on that? That happy? Hey, let's check it. I want you to see that this is true. Let me show you what I mean. So I think that would be actually instructive. So go back here. So there's our answer, right? There's our answer. We good with that? Let's prove it's true. 6v plus 7t here. We're saying the answer is 6v plus 7t squared. So that means 2 of them, right? If I was to multiply that out, would it really go back to this? It would. The first one goes to both. Remember how to multiply it? Because we're factoring. We're unmultiplying. So we could remultiply to see if it's right. 6 times 6, 36. V squared. 6v times 7t, 42 VT. He's done. He went to both. Now it's the 7t's turn to go to both. 42 VT plus, and 7 times 7, 49t squared. It's a big plus sign there. And then these 2 in the middle are like terms. So what do they add to be? 84 VT. And sure enough, there's the same as the original. So all we're basically doing when we write the word foils, we're just foiling backwards, aren't we? We're just looking. Here's the F, the O, the I, and the L. See, there they are. That's all I'm observing when I write those 2 parentheses and I do the inner arc and the outer arc. I'm just basically foiling backwards, aren't I? Makes sense what we're doing? Because it's going to get ugly here in a few minutes. These are the nice ones. They come out all perfectly clean. See how these are nice in the sense that the 2 middle numbers are always the same for now. And that's not going to happen in a second, in a few minutes. All right. All right, let's try that one. W squared minus 30wg plus 36g squared. So try that one. So 2 parentheses. All right, so number in the front. What does number in the front mean we have to do? Is that making sense? I keep writing that. I hope it's making sense. When we have a number in the front, what do we have to do different? We have to write the word FOIL. Everybody see the difference? It's not just a multiply. We have to write the word FOIL when there's a number in the front because the middle is going to happen. That means when there's a number in the front. Everybody seeing that? So front times front to make front. What times what's 25W squared? 5W. 5W. Good. And then last times last to make 36G squared. What times what makes 36G squared? 6G. 6G. Good. Now, how about the middle? The middle is the OI. Well, it's the 2 inner, the 2 outer, huh? What's the 2 inner make? 30 GW or WG, whatever order, doesn't matter. And the 2 outer also make 30 GW, right? 5 times 6. How can they make in the middle? Wait a minute, is that?
No.
It's not working.
Nope.
Wouldn't it be 3 and 12?
It's not going to work.
Prime.
It's prime. This has got to be. I didn't notice that. I'm all cruising along. I'm like, hey, it's not working. Yeah. They're. Let's go double check. So everybody see, it's just the bottom, just the middle just doesn't work. 30 and 30 make 60. They don't make 30. So it's just not working. The expression is prime, meaning it can't be factored. It's just can't work it out. Now you might think, well, maybe I should answer. Some of you guys said like 3 and 12. You could try other numbers. None of them will work. For example, let me show you why 3 and 12 won't work. If you put 3 and 12 there, because that wasn't a bad idea at first. 3 times 12 is 36 at the back, right? But that doesn't work because that makes the 2 inside ones, what would they be now? 3 times 5, 15. The 2 outside ones, 5 times 12, 60, right? You use your calculator if you're rusty on some of these. And then this makes 75. 60 and 15. It's not going to make 30 in the middle, huh? So there's just no way to make 30 in the middle. Not going to happen. Prime. All right. I think you got it. Let's keep going. Number 10. Try that one. Oh, this one, hold on a second. This one has a special wrinkle. This is where things are getting a little more complex. First, take out GCF, one big parenthesis. Remember how you were supposed to look for that first? I just haven't been mentioning it because it didn't exist in any of the others. What am I talking about? There's a GCF up there. Like, what number goes into 32, 112, and 98? For sure, 2. That's all I'm thinking, 2. I don't know. Would 4 go in? I don't know. No, because 98 doesn't know. So only 2. So we're going to put a 2 on the outside, 1 big. Now, if I was you, I'd be thinking, wait a minute, we didn't do this before. Why didn't we do this before? Well, let's look back. Let me explain. Look back. Look at this one. It just wasn't there. What number goes into 25, 30, and 36? Nothing. 5 goes into those guys. 6 goes into those guys, but nothing goes into all 3. 5 doesn't go into all 3 because 5 doesn't go into 36. 6 doesn't go into all 3 because 6 doesn't go into 20. Nothing. So just on all of the other ones, there was no GCF. There was nothing in common to all 3. So I didn't do the one big princey step. I skipped it, went right to the 2. Make sense? But on this one, here on number 10, there is something they all 3 have in common. If that's there, you must do that first. With the one big princey, then on the next step, do the 2. Making sense? That gets a lot of people sometimes, so be careful on that. So go ahead and figure out what goes on the inside. Take out that 2. What goes on the inside? 2 times what? 16. And take 112 on your calculator. Divide by 2. Was that 56, right? 56R. And 2 times, what's that, 49? Is that good for starters? Now what do you do from here? Now it's regular. Leave the 2 in the front. But now just do the 2 princes and do what? FOIL. Why? Because we still have a number in the front. We have a number in the front of our. Was this supposed to be R squared? Should be R squared. Of our R squared term. So you still got to do FOIL on what's. So just leave the other 2 just sitting in the front. You know, he'll be part of the answer. So take it from there. Now do the FOIL thing from there. You guys morning people? You're all looking a little bit tired today.
Same thing as you last night.
Same thing as me, like, oh.
Stay up today.
Yes. My son and I, my wife and daughters are all out of town for a family thing, and so my oldest son has to work at his job, and obviously I've got to be here at my job, and so we stayed up. So it was just the men, so we stayed up. My 21-year-old, we stayed up late watching war movies. You know, too late, up to midnight. Hacksaw Ridge last night. We've been wanting to see. It was good. It was bloody, but it was. I call that appropriate violence. I don't like creepy violence. I'm not really into horror movies and all that. But if it was a war, that was history. That was reality. Anyway, too late though, so I'm a little sleepy too.
Want to go home early?
No, I want to give you your money's worth. I'm committed to you all. Plus, we got to get ready. I want y'all to pass. That's my real motive. Get enough math. There's part of me that would like to go home early though, Kyle, but there's a larger part that wants to see y'all pass. All right, so front times front to make 16R squared. 4R, like that. And then last times last to make 49. What times what makes 49? 7 and 7. Like that. Okay, so now we got to make that middle term, right? Which is the OI pattern thing. So let's check that out. So the 2 inner, the 2 outer. So it's that 28R and the other 2, 28R. Good there, everybody okay with that? So the 2 inner, 4 times 7, 28R. The 2 outer, 4 times 7, 28R. And those 2, what do they add to be? 56R. Perfect. That's, well, except we want negative, though. How do we make negative? Just make them both negative. No big deal, huh? Make them both negative, then negative 28 and negative 28 makes negative 56. It's all good. So this is our answer. Well, except we're supposed to write 2 of, squared. Same thing. Squared. There we go. Right, because there's 2 of the 4r minus 7s. Is that good? Is that making sense on that? See how the middle worked on that one. The last one we had to say prime because it didn't work, huh? But this one worked. Is that good? Questions I can answer on that?
So if the sign in the middle, it's different, so it could be a perfect square, huh?
Well, yeah, it's got to. Totally. Yeah, if it was 1 minus 1 plus or something.
Yeah.
Yes, well said, Jose. Well said. If it was 1 minus 1 plus, they'd be different. We'd say not a perfect square. It's got to be the exact identical twins, exactly the same thing, same sign, same everything. They were both the same, so it's squared. Yeah, good. So that's a pretty hard one. So a lot of steps, huh? We have to do the first step where we take out what's in common to all of them, 2. And then we do the 2 parentheses from there. So when do you take out what's in common first? Whenever there's something, you've got to be kind of looking for it, huh? When you see these numbers, go, oh, 2 goes into all those. They got to do 2. This is where it'll really help on when's our next test? Thursday. So I guess we got a little while. Multiple choice. You'll see the options, and you'll look at the options, and you'll see that like a bunch of them have a 2 in the front. And you'll go, oh, yeah, I bet they take a 2 out. It'll help. This test is kind of nice for the multiple choice thing, right? You know what I mean? Like, let me show you what I mean. I don't know if you've looked at practice exam number 5. It's just like the real exam number 5. Let's look for just a second here. I'll show you what I mean. This will really help. Hello. Okay, let's try that one. So let me give you a hint. If this was a multiple choice test, say on Thursday, here's what you would see. A, B, C, D, E. E would be none of the above, your favorite. And a couple of the other ones would have a 7 in the front with a couple parentheses. And a couple wouldn't because they're trying to fool you. So guess what you should try? Yeah, first off, it's either B, D, or E. Could be none of the above. Right, Elizabeth? It's your favorite. So it could be that. But I'm saying when you do the problem, take out a 7 first, right? Your first step should be put a 7 in the front, 1 big parenthesis, GCF. Take out a 7. With a 1 parenthesis. Don't go straight to the 2. That's a mistake some people make. They get confused because the final answer has a 7 with 2 parentheses. And so people think they can go that straight, but remember it's a couple steps to get there, right? So you got to take out the 7. All the numbers are going to change in the 1 big parenthesis. Then go to the 2 on the next step, right? So try that. So 7 in the front, 1 big parenthesis. Do that first, and then leave the 7 in the front and go to the 2 parentheses, right? So 7 times b squared, 7 times 10b. Is it 27? That's 25, right?
Yeah.
7 quarters makes $1.75, right? Okay, so we good there? All the numbers change. Do the one big parenthesis because the numbers change, and now we don't even. You can write FOIL. And then front times front, b times b to make b squared. Last times last to make 25. 5 and 5. Do the OI, the 2 inner, 5b, the 2 outer, 5b. Sure enough, they make 10b, both plus. Everything's plus. Here's your identical twins. Same signs, right, Jose? Same signs. So we say, okay, that's identical, so that's squared, huh? There it is. Is that making sense? With the GCF first, the one big parenthesis, then the two? No questions? All is well? Was. All right, so 5c squared plus 30c plus 45. So what goes into all three of them? 5 does. And then 5 times c squared, 5 times 6c, and 5 times 9. Good so far? So we take out the GCF first, and then we go to the two parentheses, right? And we're thinking about the word FOIL. So front times front to make front. What times what makes c squared? C times c makes c squared. Good, and then last times last to make 9. 3 and 3 makes 9. Yeah, and then do they make the middle? Well, the 2 inner, 2 outer, 3c and 3c add up to be 6c, both plus. Yeah, that's right. So the final answer, 5c plus 3 squared. 2 of them. All is well? Easy enough. One more of these, and then we're ready for the hard ones. So 175, what is that? S to the third, S to the third T, plus 490, S to the second, T to the second, plus 343, S T cubed. Okay, wow, ugly. So, multiple choice test. On Friday, you would look down and look for what number is in the front of all those. Is it 7? I think so too.
7ST.
Yeah, and then look for some letters. Good job, good job. You guys are pros at GCFs. Yeah, 7ST, I think is what you would see in the front. How do we know it's ST? Remember for the letters with the powers, you take the lowest? So what's the lowest power of S up there? Just regular S over here. And what's the lowest power of T anywhere? Just regular T right there. And then all those numbers are divisible by 7. So it's 7ST, yeah. So that's what you would see. So find out, the new 3 numbers in the parentheses with the letters and everything. All right, what goes on the inside? What's that? 25 S squared. Good for the first one. Plus, so that's 70 ST for the second. And then for the third one, 49 T squared, right? We all good to there? Now, can you take it from there? So you leave the 7ST in the front and do the 2 parentheses, and we're thinking about FOIL, FOIL, front times front to make 25S squared, 5S, 5S, and 7T, 7T makes 49, T squared. Now, does that make the middle work there? Does that make 70 in the middle? Yeah, because of the OI, the inner, 5 times 7, 35, ST. And the 2 outer, 5 times 7, 35, ST. Add them up, 70, ST. That's correct. Everything's plus, plus and plus. That's the same thing twice, identical twins. So we go, okay, 7, ST. And 5S plus 7T squared, because it's 2O. And there we go. Questions on that? No troubles? That was, it was just bad looking, right? All those big numbers and letters everywhere. But it worked out okay, right? When we took out that 7ST, and you'll be able to see that on the multiple choice test. You'll see that they have, some of those have that in front. So you'll think to try that, is what I'm saying. It'll prompt you to try that.
I'm curious, how did everybody in the class come up with the 7 being the GCF so quickly? Because it takes me a few minutes to figure
Yeah, no, those are really big, ugly numbers. Yeah, no, I guess. Did you guys just divide?
Because on the one that I had on here, I have 343 on there, and then it's obvious that 7 can go into 175 and 490.
How's it obvious to you that
Oh,
seven go to
because it
175?
multiplies,
Because
49.
the, 7 times 7 is 49,
Got
and
it.
then it can go into 175.
How you don't go to 175?
As someone
The
just
last
said
one.
before,
It's the
3
truth.
times 7 quarters.
7
Because
quarters.
it's the truth.
Yeah,
It's
it's,
true.
a lot of things are the truth that I don't understand, but this one is.
And how did you,
Truth
oh,
also.
and 343. how
Yeah, I
you
did
want-
it on the,
Okay.
because I did 43 on the one that I
Yeah,
had.
you just use a calculator.
Yeah, and sometimes I do the same thing, I remember it from a previous,
Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, you don't have to like know all these like
Right.
in the top of your head. On the multiple choice test on Thursday, you'll look down, you'll see a couple sevens, you'll go, oh, I bet it's 7. And just to verify, you take your calculator, you go divide by 7, divide by 7, 343 divided by 7, you go, yep, 7's going into all of them, and you'll know. All right.
Not gonna be a perfect square.
Right. It's not going to be perfect square. They're going to be different numbers. Otherwise, it's just the same as what we've been doing, really. But they're not going to be the same. So 3w squared plus 8w plus 5. So it's FOIL. First thing we should ask, is there something in common to all three terms? What goes into 3, 8, and 5? Nothing. So we're going to skip the one big parenthesis step. Go right to the 2, right? There's no GCF. Go right to the 2. And when we do, we're going to write the word FOIL. Like that. All right, take it from there. So, front times front to make front. What times what makes 3w squared? Yeah, 3w and then just a regular w. You with me? Invisible 1. Good so far? 3w times w makes 3w squared. Front times front makes front. Now, where do we go from here? Last times last to make last. How's that going to work? Let me hold on and save this.